I just walked outside. Now, I like working on the golf swing and I like doing this stuff. And obviously, I love tech and how that's made it where we can golf all the time. But I like to think I like it more because you can golf at night and stuff, but not when it's blizzarding outside like it is right now. And it's not even November. It's going to be a long winter. What's going on, everybody? Scott Hogan coming at you. We are here in the golf studio. Very, very appropriate place to be at the moment. And I'm here and around the country and where everybody is at. Hopefully you're still getting to be out and play. If not, you know what that means? It is time to get better at golf. Not that you're not trying to get better all the time, but this is the time I actually get really excited. As much as I don't like the snow, I do like the time where we get to come in and work on golf swings and really do some good work without thinking about, all right, what am I shooting? Let's make yourself better and get your game ready so when the season comes back around, we're ready to roll. So we're going to do that today. We're going to go over all the positions of the golf swings over the next series of videos because I get that question a lot. And as I've been doing online teaching, it's always interesting how I get that question of like, oh, I'm supposed to look at it at this point. And it's always something I take for granted a little bit. I think we take it for granted as teachers a little bit, that this is where you want to see the club. So I wanted to go over that so it can help you play better golf and get better. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. We're going to be going over this over the next few videos. Don't miss out on them. Plus, we'll have more with the tech, making sure you have drills and things to work on this winter. So don't want to miss out on any of that. Let's get into the golf swing. Let's start talking about it. So we're obviously getting into more of a technical side of the swing. There's two parts, I think, that you can look at with the game of golf and how you play. The one is your technique and how your swing is. The second is the performance. You actually have to take that technique and go out and play. So as we get into the winter, we work a lot on technique because our goal is that we don't have to think about it very much as we go out and play. It's a little bit cumbersome, it's a little bit challenging, and sometimes you feel like your head's going to explode thinking about what you're doing with your golf swing. Now, that's okay, that's normal. If you experienced it, that's great. You're probably actually doing something really good. But with that said, a lot of people will ask, why do I even want to work on my technique? Why do I want to go through this pain? So the way I always describe it is, imagine you have a fishbowl and you wanted to fill it up with water, and the water was the performance, but the size of the fishbowl you have is your technique. Your technique is basically giving you a bigger fishbowl so you can fill it up with more water, which would be more performance. That's what I look at technique and see that as. Now, can you perform really well with bad technique? Sure. What is bad technique even? You know, it just depends on what you're doing, right? But I think when we see people have technique that matches more what their body does, matches more what physics wants to do, and it matches more what your body should do, that is going to help you play better golf, especially if you get under pressure. So with that, we're going to talk about all the positions of the swing. You may have heard people say this in other areas. If you ever hear somebody describe a golf swing and say P2 or P4 or P6, that's all they're talking about. It just stands for position 2, 6, 4. That's all you're saying, so we know where we're talking about in the golf swing. And there are 10 of them as you go through. So we're going to go through all 10 of those and talk about it. My goal is to give you some variations of what you should be looking for based on the ball flight you want to hit and be able to play a little bit better. So without further ado, let's get into position 1, P1, that is address. Address, this should be the least controversial part of this, but it's the golf world, who knows? But the way I look at address, there's one overlying theme that I want to see throughout the swing, and that's going to be balance. Now, there are other issues or other things that I want to be able to make sure we're promoting in the golf swing, but balance is number one. And it's not just staying on your feet. What I want to see is your body be able to be balanced so that when you pick up speed and you go at a really high level of speed, what people don't realize is this golf club gets really heavy as you swing it really fast. It's getting close to weighing almost 100 pounds. That's how much force is going on as you're swinging a club down by the ball. So you have to be able to handle that force, and address is where we get ourselves set up to do that. So what do I like to see? The first angle we look at is down the line. What I look for are three things from there. The first is going to be your shoulders, the second is your knees, and the third is going to be the balls of your feet. I like to see those joints stacked on top of each other. So if I drew a straight line down from my shoulders to the balls of my feet, I like to see those joints very, very close to being right on top of each other if they aren't already. Why is that? Because when you're swinging, that's typically how your body is going to balance. So let's say you reach out too far. Most common thing I see, your shoulders are too far out over your feet. When you bring the club back, you're typically going to have your shoulders working back away from the ball. That's going to then balance your lower body where that starts working into the ball. That sounds a lot like early extension for people that are thinking about that out there. And then we actually get a lot of tops, thins, we get shanks, we get everything. So we want to make sure we're nice and balanced from that position. So using a mirror, that's going to be the easiest way to get that. Get your shoulders, get your knees, get the balls of your feet lined up. From there, you can adjust certain little things like the height of the handle. I can adjust the height of the handle based on what type of shot I want to play. If I want to hit a draw, I might put it a little bit higher. If I want to hit a fade, I might go a little bit lower. Now from the face-on view, we're going to add a few more points as we go through this. We're also going to modify a couple of the existing points. So I'm still going to look at my shoulder joints. I'm going to go down. From this point, I'm going to look at my elbows and see where my elbows are lined up. I do like to see those right over the knees or pretty close. I also like to see the hips and the knees lining up or again pretty close. And then I like to see our ankles lining up or again pretty close. If your ankles and the knees are a little bit wider, that's probably okay based on the club you're hitting. You might need a little bit more balance, or if you're hitting a driver, let's say you're trying to get a little bit wider so you can hit up on it, that is also okay. But again, we want to see joints stacking on top of each other, because as you go through, you will see that these joints love to line up. If you don't understand what we're talking about, what I challenge you to do is just take a string and tie a ball to it. If you ever seen that and you swing it around, you notice the string gets tight. All right, just simple physics. That's the same idea that's going on with your joints as we swing this club around our body. Everything's going to start lining up, and we want to do it in a healthy way, and we want to do it in a way that our body is meant to do. That way we don't have weird things happening in our swing that cause the ball to go everywhere. I love to see that from a setup. Again, variation, stance width, you can do a little bit with how you tilt your bodies and things like that. Now, what we didn't cover in this is things like alignment, okay? Alignment, that can be very, very personal based on the shot you are trying to hit. Very typically, I like to see a square alignment. If you're gonna hit a fade, we might do little tiny adjustments. If you're trying to hit a draw, I would pretty much stick with what we're prescribing right here. But again, you can hit a lot of shots from these positions. As you continue through the swing, that's where you're really going to start dictating what type of shot you hit. And that's when you probably are going to figure out what your alignment should be based on what goes on later in the golf swing. Same thing goes for grip. Grip, we've talked about it before. We're assuming you have a pretty good grip, but that's something that we can adjust as you go throughout the swing and see what we have going on. So that's our run through P1. Address a couple things, hopefully a little bit away from the standard, like, all right, posture, alignment. Notice we didn't talk about the flat back and saying you have to do that, because you just don't. You don't have to have your alignment a certain way, because you know what? Everybody can align it a little bit differently. You can look at two people that play the same ball flight and they do it a lot different ways throughout the entire swing, but their address is usually going to be something that's pretty close. And so that's where we're really going to be focusing on, is those types of things. Your homework now, get in front of a mirror, get out there, see what you can do with it, see how it feels to get in these positions. This is a great way to get better without ever even hitting a golf ball. Just work on getting into a really good, balanced, powerful position that's going to help you play better golf. So that's my challenge and my homework to you for the week. Get out there and try that. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, if you have questions about your own swing, make sure you check out our online academy, ScottHoganGolf.com. Had great successes all year doing our online program, and we're hoping to keep that going through the winter. So excited about that. And as always, if you have questions about this video, leave a comment down in the comments below. Click that subscribe button as well. Don't miss out on the future videos where we continue to connect the dots through the swing. Going to be a lot more in depth going forward with different parts of the swing. It gets really interesting, and hopefully something you can connect with as we go. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.